Comedian, DJ, television host, charity fundraiser, and a prolific, predatory, indiscriminate sexual abuser. Jimmy Savile was a man who used the cover of celebrity to attack boys and girls, men and women, patients and staff. The youngest victim just 5 years old, the eldest 75.
I hate him. I just want to thump him till he disappears, but he's never going to, because I can still feel him, I can still smell him.
And today the release of investigations into 28 NHS hospitals reveal how widespread his abuse was and how easily he was able to get away with it.
Unrestricted access gave Savile ample opportunity to indulge in abusive and inappropriate contact with patients and staff.
Patients and staff who were abused by Savile kept silent. Some from fear that the truth would not be believed. Who'd believe a dangerously mentally ill patient against a national hero?
Savile was a callous, opportunistic, wicked predator who abused and raped individuals, many of them patients and young people who expected and had a right to expect to be safe.
His abuse over 5 decades ranged from lewd remarks and inappropriate touching to sexual assault and, in 3 cases, rape.
I was silenced by fear. I knew that he could do whatever he wanted. And I was terrified. I was absolute. That fear doesn't leave me.
Yet, if it's possible to be even more depraved, it's also said Savile committed sex acts on dead bodies in mortuaries. And, as this picture shows, that he wore jewellery made from glass eyeballs of dead patients. At Broadmoor, he had accommodation, keys and access to vulnerable patients. His influence was enormous. His friend Alan Franey was given a job as a general manager, despite, the report says, his relative inexperience. This was all he had to say today.
I am very sorry for the victims, absolutely, of course I am, across the whole of the NHS, but I have nothing else to say at the moment, I'm sorry, okay.
In his home city of Leeds, he was adored, revered. At the hospital here, he volunteered as a porter, yet now 60 victims have come forward, and of the 33 who were patients, more than half were children. For all the hospitals at the centre of this inquiry, like the Leeds General Infirmary, the revelations of the past couple of years have been devastating. Because the fact is that where once they thought they were using Jimmy Savile for his celebrity to raise funds, it turns out that he was using them to carry out his abuse. Already there are concerns, though, that in all 28 reports today, nobody is being held accountable. The man himself is dead, so who now can be held to account?
The inquiry report doesn't highlight or single out an individual accountable for this, but what it does do is it talks about organisational failings at the time when Savile was most prolific in his activities during the 1960s and 70s.
Saying that this was something that happened in the 60s and couldn't happen today is simply not good enough. What worries us deeply is that members of staff knew, it was reported to them, and nothing was done. And just to simply say, well, senior management didn't know, is not going far enough in terms of holding people accountable.
And it's not just those that Savile sexually abused who've suffered. Helen Harding is one of the team from Victim Support who's been brought in to help with counselling the abused, the parents and even the staff.
We've supported some staff from Leeds who have felt that guilt as well, you know, that felt that they should have done something about that or said something. You know, you've seen it in the press that a lot of people linked with Jimmy Savile have that guilt. This case has been a bit of a test case for various reasons. The fact that Jimmy Savile has died, it's very difficult for the victims to get closure on this. They want to see justice done. They want to see that there is some sort of retribution in there somewhere.
There are 3 reports still to come, including from Stoke Mandeville Hospital, where already more than 20 victims have come forward to describe their abuse at the hands of Savile.